We are building up to Global Champions League Round 2 in Mexico City, and the Kunststars powered by the Iron Dames as Sana Taisa joins us in studio. Sana, Concredam, talk to me. I know you don't have time. How does Concredam feel today?
He feels unbelievable. He's fresh. We did a little warm-up. Crazy as always.
Wild self.
Yeah, crazy as always. So I hope he really can behave himself, and we can do a good job for the Kunststars.
A question in the studio was, what does Deborah Meyer put in the canteen at work for everybody, for the Kunststars and now the Monaco Comets? Because it seems like these two Iron Dames teams are just completely separate from everybody else. What is the energy like between these teams? Because it really does feel like it's something different, doesn't it?
It really feels like a family. We're two teams. We're competing against each other, but on the end, we're a big family. And Deborah is giving us such a confidence, always calm, always giving us time. And that really helps to keep the pressure low and really give everything in the ring.
I know round 2 is coming up. Let's quickly talk about round 1. What did you think of, firstly, an outstanding performance from Natalie and from Katrien? What were your thoughts on what your team members did there?
Unbelievable. I think it was not lucky rounds. I think it was really good rounds. They all did really good. Also the Monaco Comets. As everything looks like this, then we can end up on the podium together again. I really hope.
Are you shocked with 8 out of 17 going double clear in this? Did it feel like an 8 out of 17 double clear?
That's for sure not, because it was a very difficult course. I must say I had a good round at a stupid little fault, but it didn't feel like so many was going clear, but I think everyone is well prepared.
Who are you looking at for round 2 to be dangerous? This is difficult when there's so many teams on double clear. One fence takes you completely off the podium. Who do you think is looking like major competition?
I hope our biggest fear would be Monaco Comets.
Yeah, it's a Doha repeat, isn't it? It's an Iron Dames 1-2 or Iron Dames 1-3. Is there the joke around that internal competition between now the Comets and the Dames?
No, I mean, what I said, we really hope both to end up on the podium. For us, it doesn't really matter who ends up first and who ends up second, if that's possible. What I said, we are a big family and we hope all the best.
All right, I know you have to get going. Thank you very much. Go and get ready for round 2.
Thank you.
Sana Taisa joining us live in studio, giving us some thoughts on what to expect for GCL round 2. Her words, not mine. Concredam is his usual crazy self. And for anyone that has never watched Concredam jump, you are in for a real show, because Concredam is, without a shadow of a doubt, I don't want to use the word crazy because it sounds like a negative connotation. I mean it super positively. The energy, the blood that they refer to in equestrian sport, the blood that Concredam has, the energy, the ferociousness, the power, it is remarkable. And you'll see that a little bit later on when the Kunststars, powered by the Iron Dames, Sana Taisa, comes out a little bit later on. We are building up for the second round of Global Champions League here in Mexico City. You can see the course walk behind us currently underway. We remind you, if you have no idea what a course walk is, the course gets set up. There is a course designer. He builds the course. He puts the fences where he wants to put them. The riders then walk the course. They measure the distance between the different fences in human steps. They have now equated already in their training ground what the equivalent in a horse stride is. They count those horse strides, and then what they do when they are live in the ring, they, along with their horse, make sure that they hit the equated strides to make the right jump and the right landing, fence by fence. We continue looking at how round 2 is going to come up. In a few moments' time, we once again chat to Rosie Turner. She'll be joining us in a few moments to give us some thoughts, some reaction, and in particular, some of the changes that have taken place. Here's another thing for you to know in Global Champions League. Managers can make changes to their teams from round 1 to round 2. This can be horse changes or rider changes. Let's join Rosie now. Rosie, thank you for joining us. Let's talk about some of these changes. Take us through maybe those that haven't, and for those that have, what stands out, what will look different in GCL round 2.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. We've got quite a few changes actually going through the teams, and I think we've only got 4 teams without any changes. I'm going to focus on the bottom half of the table, actually, starting with Shanghai Swans. Katarina came in, and she was the first time she's ever jumped for the team, and she was sensational in the first round going clear. She comes in again with a horse change with Kuma 5, a 13-year-old gelding. We also have Max Kuna. We know he's an incredibly strong rider. He comes in with EIC Cooley Jump the Queue, and Christian Christian Alman is out for this round. Doha Falcons, again, another fantastic team, really strong again. We've only got a horse change. We've got both riders, Jerome and Julian, are both going to be competing in this, and Jerome brings in Great Britain. Can Stars, I know you've just spoken to Sanna Tyson as well. She brings in Conky Dam. I think we're all looking forward to seeing that, and I think we also all hold our breath to see how he jumps, because it is sensational. If you've never seen it before, just you wait. And Katrin Eckermann also has a horse change as well. She brings in Calamandia, an incredibly strong horse as well. So a good few changes here, Mark, but I can see them only getting stronger into round two.
All right, thank you very much, Rosie. We'll let you get back into your duties, grab us some riders, talk to us, and give us some thoughts and some reactions to what's being said there. We'll come back to you in a few moments' time. Quite interestingly, just behind this massive studio wall, we are in a huge scaffolding that has been designed and built here this week in Mexico City. Just below me, that's probably about maybe 3 or 4 meters down, there is a group of fans that have been waiting the entire afternoon. And I've seen how some of the Doha Falcons have just come down to sign some autographs. Jérôme Guéry, Julien Aquetin, signing some autographs for fans. They've been coming all the way up right into the side of the ring all afternoon, trying to get close to these show jumpers, trying to get close to their heroes, trying to get close to these riders, the best in the world, all competing here in Mexico City. And let me tell you, that's exactly what's happening, by the way. As you can see, Julien Aquetin signing autographs, Jérôme Guéry in there as well. I think hugs are being dished out, high fives are being dished out. I wonder if the famous Julien Aquetin and Jérôme Guéry will give me a high five down the scaffolding as well. Maybe that's something to try too, because let me tell you, we should never take for granted just how superb and how sensational these riders are, and how good they are to compete at this level day in and day out, week in and week out. And for them to come around and travel on all of these global champion stages, it is an incredible feat. We'll go back to Rosie Turner now as we allow the riders to continue with their autographs, continue with their signing session. Rosie Turner, who have you got? Let's get some thoughts and some reaction ahead of round two.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I've got Gilles Thomas alongside me now for Valkenswaard United. No changes in this team. Gilles, you're one of the only teams that don't make any changes. What was the reason for that?
We really wanted to do a good result for our team this time. I think it's good that we can start good in the season straight away. And both horses jumped good, so we tried once more with the same ones.
There's a bit of a difference going into round two, though, because so many teams went double clear now. Is that a big difference in terms of you have to think about the speed now as well?
Yeah, indeed, there were many clears in the first round. I think also the course builder saw it, because the second round is a bit higher and it's tough enough. So I think at the end, okay, there were indeed a lot of clears, but if you stay once more double clear, you will end up high.
How different is this course to the first round? How much harder is this?
Yeah, this is actually more a Grand Prix course. Yeah, the jumps are a bit bigger, and also again 12 jumps. And indeed it will become also maybe a bit on time, but we are I think early to go from the teams that are clear, so I think we just need to ride a long round, try to stay twice clear, and then we see
how you go.
Yeah.
Lastly, any particular line on the course that you think is going to cause the most problems in second round?
I think actually at the end, in the beginning you have to ride a bit to get a bit over the big jumps, and then at the end there are a bit high verticals that follow each other up quickly, so I think I think the end is also difficult enough.
Well, good luck, Gilles. We'll let you go and carry on walking the course. Good luck for round two. Mark, those are the thoughts of Gilles Thomas as we go into round two, and as he said, this is much more like a Grand Prix course.
Thanks very much, Rosie Turner. The thoughts of Gilles Thomas for Valkenswaard United. Oliver Lazarus jumping clear, Gilles Thomas jumping clear. Con Bathago and Luna van der Dennehoff will continue in that second round. We remind you there on that graphic on screen, 8 of the 17 teams have jumped double clear here this afternoon in the opening round. It's a number that has surprised many, many people. Surprising that of Sanna Tyson, surprising that of Maximilian Weishout, surprising that of even ourselves. From what we saw in the opening round of GCL, It did not look and feel like a course that was going to be able to be double cleared by 8 teams, but that is what's happened, and that does mean that round 2 is going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. We love a virtual ranking on the show. We love to be able to push the pause button and say that if things were to end right now, how would things then look at the end of the afternoon? What does virtual ranking look like? The Kunstars, powered by the Iron Dames, would once again take home 30 stage points. The Prague Lions, with their 11, would stay in second place. Monaco Comets, powered by the Iron Dames, once more would take 14 points and finish on 35. Mexico Amigos up to 4th. Shanghai Swans make up some ground. The Doha Falcons would jump all the way up after a disappointment at their home stage in round 1 in Doha, Qatar. They would jump all the way up to top 7. So this is what a potential virtual ranking would look like if we were to stop things right now. This, however, will all depend on what the riders are going to have to jump today, what has been set up and what has been designed in that second round. We spoke to you a little bit earlier on about the course walk, about the importance of the riders having to walk this course, being able to familiarize themselves with the distances between the different fences. Rosie Turner once again back in the ring for us to try and give us some indication as to what some of those major lines may well look like. Rosie, let's come back to you, get some thoughts, see who exactly has walked what and what are the comments that have been made.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Well, as Gilles Thomas said earlier, it's a bit more like a Grand Prix course. I've now got Michael Pender alongside of me to maybe walk a line with us. Is that right? Is this looking more like a Grand Prix course?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot more questions asked than the first round. It's very big. And it's quite delicate. I think there's a lot to be jumped. There's 13 fences, so yeah, I think definitely there's a lot to be jumped, and it's definitely a lot more like a Grand Prix than the last round.
Let's walk a line then. You can choose the line, because you said this one is going to be particularly tricky.
Yeah, I think this is difficult. You've jumped a lot already, and then you roll back here to 2 big verticals before the last line. So I think we'll see a few horses making a mistake here.
I guess, does it make a difference that you're also turning away from home at this point?
Definitely, you have to jump in a big oxer, and you've jumped a combination, and you've taken a lot out of them already. And I think here it's 2 big verticals before the last line. So I think we will see it fall a few times. Let's
walk this line, and if you can, for me, and I know it's tricky, but if you can count as well as speak, tell me what you're counting. That would be great.
Perfect. So we land here. Hopefully all going to plan. We should land here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that should be our first stride. So we should be here, and hopefully at this stage now, I think the 4 is quite normal. So you want to be allowing here so we can balance, so we have a bit of support at the vertical when we get there.
So at this point when you're going through here, and are you thinking you need to hold them back, or are you thinking you actually need to let them flow on?
No, I think when you land, I think you need to allow here in this line so you get up to this, and then you can slow down. I think if you land and go, you'll end up hopefully balancing. I think maybe for some of the bigger strides it will be a bit shorter, the 4 strides, but I think in general people will have to land and move a little bit and then wait for the 4.
Let's go up to this fence then, because actually this is an incredibly spooky fence, and I know these are very experienced horses as well, but with the water tray plus the incredibly bright poles as well, does that make a difference?
I think in the water tray is behind them, and the vertical, as you can see, is top of the wing, so it's a big vertical, and at the end of the course when they're getting a bit more tired, they're after turning away from the in-gate, they're after giving them a lot already. So I think it is definitely, this is definitely a very difficult line, and this vertical is very big. I think we'll see it fall a few times.
We had a great round 1 going clear. Dennis just had 1 down. Have you had a quick chat with each other to see how you play this round 2? Because speed might be an option here.
Yeah, I think we'll be more concentrating on jumping clear rounds here, and this course is very big. So I think if we could put in 2 clear rounds, you never know what happens. I think there'll be a good few faults here, so we might end up with a shout to being on that podium.
So playing it safe then for the team, for New York Empire, powered by Lugano Diamonds. Thank you very much, Mikey, for talking us through that. We'll let you go and get ready for round 2. Mark, the thoughts of Mikey Pender through this one of the last lines of this course. It's going to be tough. We saw a lot of clears in the first round. I don't think we're going to be seeing that in the second.
Thank you very much, Rosie. I don't think so either. And I'm just keeping my eye over the shoulder here because remember those fans that I spoke about? Well, their afternoon has just been made because Edwina Tops-Alexander has just gone over to sign a dozen hats, a dozen arms, a dozen foreheads, a dozen cheeks. It's all happening here as we get ready for Global Champions League Round 2, live from Mexico, Stage 2 of the GC season. Let's get it going.
This is the stunning scene, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Campo Marte for the second leg of the Longines Global Champions Tour 2025. We are all set fair, a brilliant opening leg, and the Trofeo Banorte yielded about half the field had clear rounds individually. Half the teams, 8 of our 17 teams jumped double clear, and CanStars again out in first place. They won in Doha leg 1 this year. They won 4 GCL legs last year to become season's champions in their maiden GCL year. It was simply impressive, and they are out in first place once again. Natalie Dean, brilliant. Katrin Eckermann followed it up with an immaculate clear. That was with Chao Li and Akota M for CanStars, powered by Iron Dames. Welcome to the GCL second round that also acts as the Grand Prix qualifier for Sunday. We have 55 combinations to come forward. The prize purse, €105,500, and of that a quarter, €26,250, will go to our champion. The course team doing a fascinating test. Yes, a fair test. The first round as it must be, led by Anderson Lima, the Mexican designer. This track goes up by 40 meters in length, 540 meters now we stand at. It's a very long course, and 86 seconds is the time allowed. This will be a battle royale, 40 combinations. It is only to start the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix here on Sunday. So this has a double function to decide the fate of leg 2 of the GCL, and also to decide who will start in the Grand Prix here in 2 days' time. The new rule for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix this year: we used to have 40 qualified. If 1 or 2 were to drop out because of maybe a late injury, we'd stay with, say, 38 or 39, but now we'll go down 40, 41, 42 if there were withdrawals from those that qualify as of right. We'll drop down the results of this competition. That is Federico Fernandez, the quite extraordinary Mexican. We'll see him later. He'll start at number 9 in this Trofeo GNP Seguros. We take you down the 55-strong start field. The pair that won the Monaco leg of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix last year, Inés Joly will lead us into battle. Gregory Cossard's got the same lovely mare. Popamika will start at number 5 for France. Natalie Dean brings in Crescendo MBZ, a very good horse for the talented US rider from Palo Alto. And we'll see Mexico's Alejandro Mills for the first time starting at number 8. Now we just saw Federico Fernandez, number 9. Nicolas Pizarro's got his super mare Pia Contra coming early. Zoe Conte jumps a beautiful clear for Mexico Amigos, and she'll bring her mare La Una early enough in the GCL round 2. Olivia Philippards has got H&M Miro, horse who won the Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Stockholm last year. John Whittaker, can't wait to see John, number 37. Equine America Unique du Francport. And Jupp won the London Excel Grand Prix. Mariano Martinez Bastida jumps a very good first round clear today already. That's a great pair. Conquidam will come late as CanStars tries to win another leg this season. And Katrin Eckermann has got an outstanding horse to anchor the Trofeo GNP Seguros this afternoon here in Mexico City. A very good afternoon to you all from myself, Ed Holloway. Great to have you alongside here. And we sit tight because this will be a battle royale that takes place here in the Campo Marte Hippodrome. This arena, absolutely superb. It's used by the military and the government here in Mexico City, as well as hosting some wonderful equestrian events. And this, the showcase, the Longines Global Champions Tour, second leg of this 19th season. Yeah, Top Star founder and innovator, started back in 2006. Well, this course will be fascinating because two combinations out on it. So the early double, that is the guitars combination. It's a plank in at 4A. One stride, a long one down to 4B, 152 by 160. The treble, our sponsors treble, the GNP Seguros line 7A, B and C again, 157 to all the pair of verticals, leaving it one stride apiece as Jolie just rehearses her turn. Well, it's not a turn, it's a straight line, but rehearses the takeoff point she'd like to get into the guitar plank. Lioness will launch into action. This is the horse that won her very first Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Monaco last year. He's 11 years of age this time. He is the son of Agonix du Seigneur, crossed to Pablo van Berkenbrock, bred by no less a man than Jos Lansing. He also stepped down from the helm of the Dutch team as chef d'équipe, and he won the world title in Aachen. That was Cavalier Cumano back in 2006. It's a very big occasion. Great to have your company. And we go in reverse order through the teams. We will have, though, initially 21 individual starters who will try and lay their claim. 55 starters will take 40 into the Grand Prix, as I've said, so we will say farewell to 15 this afternoon. But Ines Jolie, a pair that you would certainly expect will be joining us here on Sunday. Trailblazer of the Trofeo GNP Seguros gets away. And it's a rocky start, unbelievable start. The opener goes the Bruxelles vertical. It's powerful. Bay, he is a machine, as we witnessed in Monaco. For the lady from Saint-Etienne in Lyon, initially now based in Deauville, through equestrian capital, the likes of Gilles Paillard and Victor Beddendorf, who won the Super Grand Prix last year, all nestled in around the venue of the World Games in 2014 in Caen. Between Lisieux and Caen, the paces there. But another error for Ambassador, and it's a really surprising start here. This course will certainly be ramped up in difficulty. The home-themed Ox at 8. Federación Equestre Mexico, and then the Mercedes-Benz at 9. Ambassador then back on its hocks from Ines Jolie into the last 4 fences on the home run. She travels, and it's a really surprising pair of rails for this hugely talented former nurse. She worked in surgery, but then the juggle between the operating theatres and the saddle proved too much, and she dedicated, we're very happy she did, to show jumping. But it is going to be 2 down this afternoon. 8 penalties to get us underway in the Trofeo GNP Seguros. Ines Jolie for France and Ambassador Z. I think that the course this afternoon will be big. It will be technical enough, certainly, and there's a lot going on. It's just a bustling atmosphere here. It's a real festival. The riders love coming. That is what we cannot underline and bolden enough. It is one of those dream tickets to come here to Mexico. The new starter, this man will turn 50 mid-May of this year. John Perez Bom is on course for Colombia. This is outstanding Bacardi VDL daughter. It is Gigi Carmen away positively. This pair were 9th in the Grand Prix here last year, so a little flutter into the combination 4A, though retained in the cups. John Perez left Colombia at 18 to go and work in Monterrey La Silla, stunning venue. Another grandstand location here in Mexico. He was 34th in the World Cup finals in Leipzig with Utopia. That was in 2011, the year Christian Almond won with Talo Bay Z. Gigi Carmen jumping absolutely perfectly. John Perez-Baum keeps his eye on the clock as well, hacks down to the Mercedes-Benz Oxer. Gutsy approach, and it pays dividend. The Colombian, was free-flowing as we saw prior to the mistake at the Mercedes-Benz Oxer, but just a little bit on bound. Down to the vertical. The Longines skinny, I'm afraid, is the late mistake. Gigi Carmen, very feisty round, but I'm afraid I thought we were looking at our open clear, and it is a penalty for the very strong pair for Colombia, as they demonstrated here last year in the Grand Prix. Yeah, it will be hard work out there. That's the early indication from the class of the opening pair. 4 penalties for John Perez-Baum and Gigi Carmen. Now 27 out of the 52 that started the GCL round 1 jumped clears, and the individual win for Eduardo Pereira de Menezes. 68.27 was the time. Ignacio Morin was second for Argentina. Brazil having won. Katrin Eckermann, that outstanding round with Chao Li for CanStars as well. They lead in the team. She is third. She was third in the individual standings. The new starter. Now this extraordinary young man, Thibaut Spitz, with a 5-star debutant, the gelding Ugano Sitter side, Quickstep Van Het Chamblanc has the plank into the double at 4A. It's a real surprise. Yes, this horse, his 5-star debut, but this man is a magician. His family have a big breeding farm close to Mechelen. He was Belgian Talent of the Year, awarded at Mechelen in 2019. It was his second 5-star show. He had a win. Why not? This man's ability. These things, the likes of Thibaut, Gilles Thomas, their potential, their future careers are really staggering as to what the pair of them can achieve. But it's another rail, I'm afraid, but it will be, I think, order of the day. This course beefed up. It is 3rd error, 4th error now, but as we say, a debutant, so this will be a very tall order. You've got to bring them when you feel the time is right. You can't necessarily expect a perfect round with a rookie at 5-star. That is the demand. But these world-class riders just know when to come and when to bow out of a 5-star start at a big competition, and Thibaut Spitz thought it was high time to get this very nice grey underway, but it is going to be 20 the total for Thibaut Spitz and Quickstep Van Het Chamblanc, number 3 for Belgium.
From Germany now, Christian Alman joins us with 2 Euro there, 10-year-old stallion that's long decided touched it.
Christian Alman comes in, and Dorkin Hero Z is the next to start. The first for Germany in this Trofeo GNP Seguros this afternoon. This, the 10-year-old Zangaseda Stallion. This pair very good in Monterrey La Silla, the Major League show jumping Grand Prix. That was 4th in early November last year. Now Christian jumps a very good clear round. Mandato Van Het Neerheide, that puts Shanghai Swans in 3rd place going into the 2nd GCL round this afternoon. But now he'll focus on the Grand Prix qualification. Yeah, Dorkin getting very deep, I'm afraid, to the traction plank before the 180-degree turn. It's a 360-degree turn they get as they come down, though, back to 7A, B and C, the GNP Seguros, our sponsors treble. Christian Alman, I'm afraid, think if he could have 4, may still qualify for the Grand Prix. I would think that would be a sufficient score, given the clear demands of the course that Anderson Lima has set. Christian down to the Longines vertical. Dorcan Hero Z still travelling on the 4 penalty. What an arena. Look at the sheer size of the grandstands. The real feeling of you are at a very special venue is evident. Well, the crowds would have loved Christian Almond to deliver a clear round, but it is going to be another one to struggle. Not a big struggle, but still, this man's standards are that high. That would have been a painful error coming at the traction plank at 5 for Dorcan Hero Z and Christian Almond. In fact, apologies, the plank was planned at traction, but it is now a pole, so I did think that it's going to be a little bit tough to have a plank into 4A and be in another plank at 5. Of course, team have whisked that away under my field of vision. The new starter, Gregory Cotard, just one down in the first round with this daughter of Vigo D'Arsouy, who won the world title in 2010 with Philippe Lejeune in Kentucky. Team bronze as well. Popmika JW van der Merhove is on course for Greg. He runs the Wee Stables in Drocourt in France. He's got a very good secret weapon in Michael Borro, former Taekwondo world champion. He uses to hone his mindset and just get him in the right place, because mental space is critical on the back of a horse when things are happening quickly. You've got to keep yourself very slow and calm under the heat of the pressure. Gregory Cotard, quite a big adjustment into the GMP Seguros triple. Yeah, didn't get away with it. I was a little bit concerned, lost momentum. A couple of strides out and pays a penalty exiting. Not easy, those verticals, 157 tall. You've got to have balance, but then momentum will just deny you maybe the power off the ground to get out of the combination. Third error comes at the Longines vertical. Popmika reduced to 5-star, and a very good horse for Olivier Philipparts prior to the new acquisition for Gregory Cotard this season. Struggles home. It is going to be 16 penalties out on this highly influential course as we still look for our first clear of the Trofeo GNP Seguros here in Mexico City. It's going to be an exciting couple of hours of sports.
Siguiente jinete número 6 de la prueba, jinete chileno, que ha estado en unos Panamericanos, que ha estado en una final de la Copa del Mundo y que compite aquí con Luis Corial, un caballo que se incorporó a su cuadra el pasado mes de septiembre, Jorge Mate Capdevila.
Over now to Jorge Mate Capdevila, represents Chile in the individual round with Miss Corial Diaz, 11-year-old Canadian driver.
Now for Chile, we welcome Jorge Mate Capdevila on course this Alice Lavette, and the Beerbaum Stables is Messenger Conor Dablensky gelding. He's 11 years of age this time. It is Mescorial PS number 6. Now they look to improve badly on the 3 down in the opening round this afternoon. The Trofeo Banorte. Jorge's first Longines Global Champion start was in Stockholm 2021. Last year, 3 legs for the Scandinavian Vikings. Miami Beach, Mexico City here, and Ramatuelle in the south of France. Beautiful approach. Now that was just keeping the momentum, the engine ticking, but again the same penalty. As Gregory Cotard, I thought the approach would have been highly helpful in getting him through that line without a penalty. This pair together, not so long since September of last year. Very good rider, Philip Weishaupt as well. He was 12th last year in the Valkenswaard Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. But bear in mind, this their 5-star debut this week, so big asks for them. especially bearing in mind they were eliminated actually in the 4-star Grand Prix at Wellington 2 weeks ago. So it's an improved round. 2 down, it is 8 penalties, but as I say, with an elimination recently or last outing, that would have been a fearsome task coming into Mexico City. 8 penalties for Jorge Mate Capdevila for Chile, and Escorial PS number 6.
Natalie Dean, with the United States. They competed with Crescendo MBZ, the 15-year-old Melvin McClinton.
The new starter. What a stunning clear round it was with Cota M was his name. That is for Can Stars that lead the way in GCL competition after a brilliant first round performance from the season champions last year and winners of the opening leg this year in Doha. Natalie Dean is underway. This is Crescendo MBZ on course. Yeah, they do take the plank into the double. For A, I'm afraid the guitar strings are plucked. First error for Crescendo. This was from rider Rodrigo Carrasco, the Chilean. July of last year joined Natalie Dean's string. Crescendo MBZ down through the triple. They can jump through there, whereas the last two have struggled. It is clearly a very tough line. I have some horses returning for the second round here, some new horses as well, but for those that return, there's a real endurance additional factor to the question this afternoon. The stamina becoming a real influence. This horse, of course, his first round here, but that's a theme we'll see later in the Trofeo GMP Seguros. The last fence goes as well, I'm afraid. Just getting a little bit out of the hand of Natalie Dean. The son of Clinton has 2 down, 8 penalties for the lady from Palo Alto in Northern California, 79.63, Natalie Dean's time.
So far in this test, 79.63, but that's with 8 jumping calls for Natalie Dean and Crescendo.
Número 8 en pista, nueva opción para México. A ver si vemos jinetes mexicanos en el Gran Premio del domingo. Esta es, de hecho, decía ya más jinetes mexicanos, el primer jinete mexicano. Viene de ser segundo en la Copa del Mundo en Puebla, este año con Brecht, el tema B, Alejandro Mills.
Could the home nation deliver the first clear of the Trofeo GNP Seguros GCL round 2 as we get the 8th of our 21 individual starters away prior to the team competition beginning. Alejandro Mills it is, and this is Bretzel du Marais on course. 51 years of age. They make their Longines Global Champions Tour debut as a pair this afternoon here in Mexico, but no, the home pair again, fairly strong clatter at the plank at 4A. Not a pluck, but a Jimi Hendrix-like thrust of the guitar plank, I'm afraid. Now Bretzel was produced by France's Hugo Brault, very good horseman in France. Yeah, very good result in Copaxpan, 6th in the 5-star Grand Prix. Another big competition here in Mexico, mid-March, a couple of weeks ago. They were also very good in early February. They were second in the Longines FEI World Cup in Puebla, behind the Dominican Republic win for Maria Gabriela Brugal Gasso. And actually, that's an interesting tale because that was a Jador Flamenco for the Dominican Republic rider. Usaya Tem Flamenco won the 2011 Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in Valencia with Billy Toomey. So, yeah, but I'm afraid this course continues to prove demanding. Doesn't make me, of course, fearful. I don't mean that in a literal sense, but I just want to see a clear round. But that is what we would expect to see this afternoon. It will be a mighty test. It is testing the best of the world. And I think the course team has got it about spot on, actually, is my gut feeling. Not an easy balance getting an influential result, but also testing, but without punishing horses. Of course, horse welfare always top of everybody's mindset. They love jumping. That, of course, is critical to say, having ridden horses myself. When they say no, and that is their blank decision. There's nothing you can do as a horseman or woman to change that, which is why the activists, I'm afraid, their arguments fall flat on their face. You just cannot do anything.
Not in the order now. Welcome Federico Fernandez, Mexican Olympian at the arena here with Longines. 14-year-old
This quite extraordinary man will celebrate his 57th birthday on Saturday. Federico Fernandez, we welcome. He's a regular here at home in Mexico City and on the Longines Global Champions Tour. He started riding at 6 years of age here in Mexico City, and he was awarded the Pivo FEI Inspire Award in 2023. The historic Team Silver came with Mexico last year in the Mercedes-Benz Prize in Aachen. And Federico, one of the 3 survivors of the plane crash in 1987. And the remarkable recovery that this man went through, had to endure to keep his life going, and his career, as dazzling as it has been something that we all marvel at and just don't understand the bravery and sheer gall of this man. Federico aboard Romeo this afternoon, number 9, and clear out over the big Liverpool. Longines Liverpool at 6. But yeah, runs down, getting a tad deep into the takeoff point at 7-8. I mentioned that story as well with the horrendous plane crash, because a year later he won a Grand Prix here in Mexico City. 1 year pretty much exactly afterwards. Federico now homebound. Just 2 4-4 rounds at this point. John Perez Bomb for Colombia and Christian Allman for Germany. Federico, though, runs yet again down into the very base of the takeoff point for the penultimate fence, which will be the second error out on the course. Federico Fernandez. There's 8 penalties for the son of Lando this afternoon. No, there will be another one. Apologies for the oversight. It is 12, Federico Fernandez. Of course, you can't help but get caught up in his extraordinary story. It's 12 for Mexico.
Número 10 en pista, otra opción para México. Ya tuvo una gran actuación aquí en Campo Marte en 2018, fue quinto en el Gran Premio de Longines Global Champions Tour. Vamos a ver si clasifica para el domingo Nicolás Pizarro, montando a pie contra.
Number 10 in the order now for 21 to jump in the Trofeo GP Seguros. On course, via contra Nicolás Pizarro from Mexico.
This pair alongside Federico Fernandez in the historic Team Silver in the Mercedes-Benz Prize in Aachen. What a result in behind Ireland last year. Aboard this superb mare, Pierre Contra gets away. Nicolás Pizarro on course number 10. The 14-year-old daughter of Confargos crossed to Chaco Blue. It's what is proving fearsome line. 3, 4A and B just slithers over the plank, but then explodes out. This mare was 7th in the first GCL round here last year. She's explosive, she is committed. When you find a good mare, they are so talented. They just fight for you into their sort of guts. It's quite amazing to see what the mares can produce. And again, massive air time over the Mexican Oxa. Fence number 8. Home crowd whoops and hollers going up here, anticipating the opening clear of the Trofeo GNP Seguros. Is now Nicolás Pizarro, Pierre Contra, 2 to go. 540 meters. It's a really long trip around the Campo Marte, but where is the first clear, and explodes into the Mexican sea air. brilliant from Nicolas Pizarro. That is the reaction. The home crowd get their toast. What a good round, 85.09. Great to see the rider reaction, because the months, the years, the discipline, the dedication, the sheer input of everybody in your team and your relationship with your horse, when these results come to fruition, that is what it means to a man of even Nicolas Pizarro's experience. He leads the way. The first clear of the second round of the GCL, the Trofeo GNP Seguros, is a home clear for Nicolas Pizarro and Pierre Contra.
Grand Prix winner in Wellington, Florida, from Mexico, Arturo Parada Vallejo, next on course, and fellow Dr. Morgan, a 15-year-old with the Chevrolet Blue Graphic.
Superb round, 85.09 is the time they would chase, and this man will certainly give chase. We stay with Mexico, and Arturo Parada Vallejo is the next to come. This is the C&M Partnerships fellow Vanta Morven, 15-year-old son of Vidal Zarocco Blue Cross the Farmer out of the KWPN Royal Dutch National Stud Book. But again, I'm afraid, first of the two technical lines, the double 4A bites. Number 138. His international career started in 2013. His Nations Cup career started in 2017. It was the Central American Games in Guatemala City. He won the individual bronze and team silver. Points Dream in 2017. They get through the sponsors line. This horse had a very good win in Wellington 4-star Grand Prix. They took the laurels in early March of this year, just a couple of weeks ago. It's a big ox, that is, the Mercedes-Benz, which is why we've seen combinations coming at a really strong pace down to make sure of the clearance of the 160 wide back bar. Arturo Parada Vallejo runs down to the last fence, the Pro Playoffs vertical. It goes as well, so two verticals, I'm afraid, is the tail of the round for Arturo. Fence 4-8 and the final fence, the Pro Playoffs vertical, and he'll go fifth with 8. He's a great competitor, but I'm afraid he will be scarred twice out of the course of Anderson Lima.
Jinete italiano in pista, montando a sacos Gerard Star, Diego Mona che ganó el año pasado un Gran Premio en Oakland, jinete que ha estado en los Juegos Olímpicos, Manuel Camilleri de Italia.
From Italy next, it's number 12 in the order, 21 will jump in this round.
The new starter, this is the outstanding Italian Emanuele Camilleri, gets up and running. This horse, Peter Schuhai, the Hungarian, took to the Milan Europeans prior to the transfer to the Italian colours. Chaco's girl star, she's electric. 13-year-old daughter of Chaco Blue, who side the Olympic champion in Tokyo, Ben Mayer's Explosion W, the British win. Now, Emanuele Camilleri down at the base of the Conade Ox. I think this could be the leading round. Let's wait and see, but that is their flair as a combination, and it's going swimmingly out there for Emanuele Camilleri. 85.09, I think, will be put to the sword as well. The time of Nicolas Pizarro, to the home crowd's frustration. Yeah, he's way up on the time here. Emanuele Camilleri, this outstanding man, now turns down to the Longines Ox. Time will be way ahead here. Streets clear. Emanuele Camilleri out over the final fence, and yes, it's a chunk of time. Best part of 10 seconds to the good. He goes way out in front in the individual standings in this Trofeo GNP Seguros. Man from the north of Germany excels once again here in Mexico City.
No class leader in the fastest ride so far today, 75.92 on the clock.
Y nueva opción para México, que ya tiene a Nicolás Pizarro con 0 puntos, tiene a Arturo Parada con 8, jinete que ha estado en los Juegos Olímpicos del año pasado en París y que ha ganado con este Contendros el Gran Premio de Monterrey con el 15 de marzo de cero en la Copa de Naciones de Agen, Andrés Azcara.
Yet again another origin from Team Mexico, Andrés Azcárraga, and Contenders 2, 18-year-old Hanoverian stallion.
The new starter. This is a brilliant combination for the home nation. Andrés Azcárraga getting started, number 13 for Mexico. This is his own, and Jaime Azcárraga's Contendros the second. Again, part of the team. We've referred to it a lot in GCL round 2 because the Mexicans here from that silver in Aachen. This pair very much part of that Mexican quartet in the Sirs Arena. Andrés was part of the Olympics in Paris. He qualified in 18th place for the finals in Versailles, but then was eliminated. It was really frustrating, but that is their class. Sets off a gear slower than Emanuela Camilli. But of course, securing qualification for the Grand Prix is paramount ahead of winning this class. Yes, it's prestigious, but booking your place for Sunday is goal one. Andrés Azcárraga in the military uniform runs down. Very nice takeoff point into Mercedes-Benz. As we eye up here our third clear of the €105,500 Trofeo GNP Seguros here in Mexico City. It's been immaculate. This horse has got the sheer resilience to pop in a few bunny hops on the home journeys. If to say, this has been fairly comfortable, if not very much deep in my comfort zone. We have 3 clears, and Andrés Azcárraga moves up into second, 83.07, with a stunning display from Contenders to second, once again here at home in Mexico.
83.07 on the clock, that puts him top 2 on the leaderboard.
3 ceros y 2 de ellos de mexicanos. Andrés Azcárraga y Nicolás Pizarro, líder el italiano Emanuele Camilli y otro italiano en pista, ganador este año.
So home nation delighted. They lie second and third. Andrés Azcárraga just goes ahead of Nicolás Pizarro, but still streets ahead is Emanuele Camilli. Leads by the best part, well, just over 7 seconds. 7.15 to be precise, the advantage for the Italian. The new starter. He's an amateur. That makes his status at the top of the World Show jumping all the more impressive, but I'm afraid the GCL Oxer goes early. 150 by 160 at 3 for Guido Grimaldi. This is Roberto Manzelli's Candy Rose, number 14. Same riders from GCL round 1 this afternoon. Sligo Candy Boy crossed to Lux Z. Out to the Irish Sport Horse Studbook. Guido trains with Luis Felipe Cortizo González de Azevedo Filho, who was second in the Grand Prix here last year with Sierra du Piedro Z. Jumped a very good clear this afternoon. The Paris Panthers, his boss, or his, not his boss, that's his, I think his family, but his coach, I should say. Boss in terms of riding style. Guido, very effective little adjustments into the Longines vertical. It's been a good round. I mean, bear in mind, he travels for business. He regularly goes on business trips prior to starting, so Luis Felipe will tune his horse up for him prior to his arrival. So that is not easy. And that was the case. He was in Istanbul actually on business prior to his World Cup Grand Prix win. That was his very first Grand Prix win mid-January this year in Abu Dhabi. That was a gentleman. This mistake early for Guido Grimaldi and Candy Rose for Italy, combination number 14. last fence as well, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's coach walking away a little bit dismayed with the final fence for his pupil.
Going to start Ignacio Marin from Argentina. Team member who rode for Argentina at the Pan American Games in 23.
This man looking for a very good pair of GCL rounds, having been second in round one individually. That was with Chaco Cono PS. But in round two, the Trofeo GNP Seguros, Ignacio Morin Sodol's Conchado. 13-year-old gelding, son of Confargos, crossed to Chaco Blue, pops up again as a dam sire. This was owned by Mario Amate, bred by the Gestut Levitz. Paul Schockemoeller's powerhouse in the northeast of Germany, getting in very deep to the Liverpool. Just gets out over the back of it. And again, forward flowing, but very careful. Didn't take any adjustment, Ignacio, and it pays off. This horse really attacking. Got a huge canter stride, bold outlook. A lot of fun to ride as a horse, just the kind of horse you would want to be sat on. Take you around this 160 track, which is really a perfect test, I think, this afternoon. It's early in the season, so you can't go bonkers, but there's enough out there to really test the combinations to their max. Super clear, that is the celebration. Ignacio Morin, his support team delighted, no surprise, into second, 78-76. He's had a pair of perfect rounds here in Mexico City. What a great day for the Argentinian. So just remind ourselves, Manuela Camilli out in first. Chaco's Girl Star leads it, 75.92. That round, about 3 seconds adrift, 78.76. Ignacio Morin second, Conchado for Argentina. The whole nation and the podium place at the moment. Sandras Azcárraga third with Contendros the second. The highway that course into the heart of Mexico City with 22.5 million inhabitants. Second largest city in Latin America behind Sao Paulo. Quite extraordinary surroundings we have here to the Campo Marte. The new starter, Samuel Parot, is on course for Chile. It is combination number 16. Samuel rattles the plank, but it stays. ...60 years of age, double Olympian, London and Tokyo. 3 Pan Ams. He was 13th individually in Guadalajara here in Mexico back in 2011. Crystal Blue. No, I'm afraid it goes slightly wrong back of the Big Oxford 8. This horse who won a 4-star 155 metre or 1.55 metre Grand Prix. That would be a big course otherwise in Coapexpan this month. So they've been in good form, but again their card is sullied with now 3 down. It's amazing on these big tracks, once things start going against the grain, how quickly you lose a grip on the round. In terms of a clear, of course, the horse looks very confident at the end of the round, which again is the stamp of a very good course. The horses can have a few errors out there, but still finish looking fresh and very much up for the job. That's the first error for the seasoned Chilean.
Va a intentar hacer 0 para tener a 3 mexicanos ya clasificados. Es José Antonio Echeverría Buitrón, Aminca.
For Mexico, José Antonio Echeverría Buitrón, Aminca, 13-year-old mare by Guarantee.
The new starter with 5 more individuals to come, back end of the individual GCL round 2 before the teams getting started. after these 5 combinations, and we welcome Mexico's Jose Antonio Chedraui Prom, the new starter. He's 31 years of age. His father, Jose Antonio Chedraui, was a Mexican Olympian. That was 96 in Atlanta and 08 in Hong Kong. Jose himself is based at the Club Hípico Coapexpan, Jalapa. That was actually built by his great-grandfather, Antonio Chedraui Caram. He's right this afternoon, Haraminka P, the Verditien daughter, across to Voltaire Pref on course. This pair had a stunning 5-star Grand Prix win, again in Coapexpan, just a couple of weeks ago, and they give huge air out over the Conade Liverpool prior to this critical turn into the GMP Seguros line. Jose sitting very tight as Haraminka improvises. That's a good horse that can just not be totally perfect on presentation in terms of takeoff point and still keep on operating. Haraminka runs down to the last 3 fences. This has been great to watch. It's a true partnership that is very, very much written on the surface here. I kind of love it when it's a little bit unauthentic in style, but the job is done just like we see. He's going to have time penalties, but it's an exciting clear round over the fences. Just shakes his head. It's going to be 6th time, and a bit frustrated, but that was the nature of the round, I'm afraid. It was improvisational, it was exciting. Airtime, of course, also cost seconds, if not split seconds, and Jose Antonio Chedraui Prom has 6 for time, but a very impressive jumping clear from Haraminka P for the home nation combination 17.
Y otro mexicano más, precisamente segundo en el Gran Premio de Coapexpan que ha ganado José Antonio Chedraui este año. Es Luis Alejandro Plasencia, Monta Info.
Let's go for Enzo DJX and Luis Alejandro Plasencia.
The new starter for Mexico, Luis Alejandro Plasencia, is number 18 on course. He won the World Cup in Guadalajara with Da Vinci, the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup of 2018, January 7 years ago, but they take GCL Oxford at 3 and consecutive errors, 3 on the bounce, I'm afraid. Yeah, Luis is going to quickly put his hand up to signal to our ground jury, our judges here. And that's a city that he has seen enough. It is an evolving theme in World Show Jumping. When things are not going your way, there are so many different options riders can select. No point in putting mileage into your precious horse's legs. Let's come back another day. Maybe they'll jump a fence out in the collecting ring just to make sure confidence is restored. But it is, I'm afraid, no retirement for Luis Alejandro Plasencia and Enzo BJX for Mexico, combination 18. It's a surprise because they were in good form in Coapexpan a couple of weeks ago. Second in the 5-star Grand Prix. Another very, very good facility. There are several here in Mexico in this blossoming nation for horse sports. The new starter, 3 more individuals to come, and Willem Vermeer gets away, 44 years of age. His daughter Robin is proving a very talented young show jumper as well. His brother Bert represents Belgium in para-dressage. The Bert won a medal, bronze it was in Athens Olympics in 2004. Willem this afternoon is aboard Damour JMGZ, the son of Jean-Marcy Van Tiernel. Grand Prix in La Boule a couple of years ago with Beth Underhill, but they, I'm afraid, take the back of that Liverpool fence 6. Bites another pair, and then would have been a distraction with the early error that then they just get the turn a little bit out of kilter to the treble. Willem's produced some wonderful horses, including Toulon. Some very good rounds from Toulon Offspring in the first GCL round. First class van Echelgem, Daniel Duisers, top horse of yesteryear. Gansi de Musa, Dalila de la Pomme of Evelina Tovek fame, and Florette van Het Lambrook of Edwina Tops Alexander, all have come through Willem Vermeer's very, very experienced saddle. It's another one who's going to have a clutch of time, naturally having to represent at our sponsors, the GMP Seguros treble at 7A, B and C, and it's a disappointing score for Willem Vermeer. We'd say in England it would be unkind, but it would be a cricket score, I'm afraid, for Willem Vermeer this afternoon. Sad to see him struggle, because he's some talented as a horseman. That is Damor JMGZ, home with a real cluster.
Salta a nivel individual, ha hecho 0 en la prueba anterior de equipos con el equipo de México. Ahora monta la una yegua con la que viene a ser quinta este año en un gran premio en Wellington, la Amazona belga, fue pronto.
And again from Belgium, this is Zoe Conquer, 14-year-old mare, Chocolate Blue, top performing style.
Emmanuel Camilli set a very competitive 75.92 second leading time that has got this Trofeo GMP Seguros by the scruff and collar in the Italian's fist. This lady jumps a brilliant clear round in GCL round 1. We welcome back Zoe Conter, the penultimate of the individual batch. And this is the Chaco Blue for pleasure mare La Una gets away. This was owned by Stefak Stables. Her father Stefan Conter's powerful base in Wolvertem, locally to Brussels. Zoe was immaculate in the first round, as I've referred to. "26 years of age, her second trip to Mexico City. Trains with Ireland's Michael Duffy. Under Helena Stormans' overall plan that Michael Duffy is employing to great effect with Zoe. Now La Una comes very strong down the sponsors line. This is looking very much in the same mode as the first. Brilliant clear for Zoe Conter this afternoon. This lady's coming of age. That is clear to everybody. Again, look at the balance, the poise on the approach. Little rattle on top of the Longines skinny, but it stays. But Zoe is riding immaculately. That is really clear to the eye. You can just see the unruffled way she's riding in beautiful balance, taking her time, which in this kind of a cauldron atmosphere is not easy. It's a stunning clear round for Zoe Conter. La Una is classy. A 3:53, and the young Belgian goes up into 4th place. What an afternoon for Zoe Conter.
Pues vamos ya con el último jinete que compite a nivel individual, el jinete español, ganador del año pasado del Gran Premio Longines Champions Tour de Rabat, fue cuarto en el cómputo total de la competición del año y tercero aquí en México. Eduardo Álvarez Armar, made in Wintershall.
Going to the first fighting on course, Eduardo Alvarez has not from Spain. He rides made into Aruca.
The last individual riders get away. Eduardo Alvarez Asnar, we welcome. He was 4th in the Longines Global Champions Tour standings last year. Superb closing win. He secured the last leg of the 2024 season in Rabat in Morocco with his wonderful Rockfeller de Pleville Bois Margot. This afternoon, Eddie Saddles made in Reutershof. This 13-year-old daughter of Norton Deolay crossed the Diamond de Semi, is owned by the Caliuga company. A man from Madrid. This mare, short striding, rapid canter. Little churning flurry of legs as she scuttles down to the Mercedes-Benz Oxa. But that is then the advantage. Not a long strider, so you can get in quite deep there and still clear. the monster Mercedes-Benz fence. And again, darting, little jink out over the top of the vertical. On the home journey, it's been a really good round. The time is going to be a podium time. Very well done, Eduardo Varas-Asnar. The original looking maiden Reutershof. She jumps a perfect round, the 13-year-old. Right up into the podium spots. At the very end of the individual riders, that is the 21st of the Trofeo GMP Seguros. So, ladies and gentlemen, Emmanuel Camilli is out in front. He leads, clear of Eduardo Varas-Asnar and Ignacio Morin. Another superb performance. We take a short break from the brilliant arena here in Mexico City, and we'll see you all very shortly for the GCL second round. The team riders will start shortly.
A 10-minute break, and we return with the GCL team riders.
Delighted to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to GCL Round 2, second leg of the 2025 season here in Mexico City. This incredible Campo Marte festival atmosphere has ignited once again this afternoon. The individuals we have completed, 21 have started, and only 6 clear rounds thus far. The course has been beefed up, certainly. We had 8 teams that delivered clear rounds in the first GCL round. There's no drop score permissible. There's a lot of changes to come in GCL Round 2. But of the 8 teams, once again, the theme goes on. CanStars leading the way. 1:39.48, their leading time, clear of Doha Falcons in second. We go in reverse order into this second round, and Shanghai Swans, they've won here twice, 2016 and 2019. They lie in third place. A pair of perfect rounds from Katarina Romberg, a rookie to their squad, alongside the seasoned Christian Allman. Delighted to have you with us, and these the standings after Doha. A brilliant win for CanStars, Deborah Meyer's team, powered by Iron Dames. Prague Lions, they were second, powered by the Czech equestrian team. And Monaco Comets, a brand new team for this 2025 season, again powered by Iron Dames. They had a podium at their debut. We're looking for big things for Doha Falcons. They are in the mix after a disappointing opening leg in Qatar. Great to welcome you, everybody, to Mexico City, this incredible metropolis, and this is the bustling atmosphere alongside this incredible grass amphitheatre. We take you back through the round 1 highlights, and Katarina Romberg versus Cambridge, exceptionally good to get Shanghai Swans' campaign for their third win here. Mexico off to the perfect start. Christian Allman, of course, coming in, the seasoned campaigner. No mistakes from Mandata van der Neerheide to keep their score sheet clean. Some brilliant rounds. The track of Anderson Lima. We had about half the individual starters jumping clear. And Emanuele Camilli, his brilliant Odense Odeveld again. Another super round. Well, Prague Lions, they are the defending champions. They won here last year and second in Doha. And once again, Fernando Martinez Sommer came back into the heat of battle here in Mexico. I'm afraid they had the one early mistake into the first of these three double combinations. Doha Falcons having to really pull up their socks after disappointment in Doha, didn't they ever? Jean Coutin led them off at a full gallop, full dollar de regade, and then the pressure kept up by Jérôme Guéry. Doha Falcons lie second in two. They'll have, of course, the second last spot as we go in reverse order. Prior to this exceptional team, Cannes Stars, powered by Iron Dames, having won in Doha, came back again, and the unthinkable happened. Natalie Dean, the first clear, and then Katrin Eckermann matched it again with Xiao Li. They sit again in first place. Can their extraordinary story continue this afternoon in that form? Yes, it can. But we know the pressure, we know this occasion. It can get the very best of competitors here in Mexico City. Here's confirmation of the clear rounds, the 8 clears. And yes, the time important, but the course will be stiffened up, as we have seen already, significantly so. If any teams can jump 4 clears, they will be in contention this afternoon. York Empire, they had the one down, as did the defending champions Prague Lions. And Mandy Peter Steiner paired alongside John Whittaker with one fence for the Swiss rider. We now take you around the course of the team here, led by Anderson Lima. It's a long track, 540 metres, 86 seconds. The time allowed 160 max height out there. And the first fence will launch him into action, the Bruxelles vertical. Run down to the Banorte, the sponsors of the GCL first round Oxa, fence number 2. They then turn to the GCL Oxa, fence 3. It's big, it's perfectly square, 150 by 160. And then 6 strides it will be. Normally there could of course be adjustments depending on your horse's individual stride length. Down to the first of the 2 technical combinations, the guitars. 4A, the plank into the double, 155 tall, and then 1 stride 8 metres and 10 it walks down to 4B, 152 by 160 out of the combination. Is very airy and feeling. 4A's cause enough influence. They then turn to Traction, this fence number 5, prior to the hairpin bend back to the Liverpool. Called out a few, it's Yawning. Fence number 6, down into the treble. This are sponsors, the GNP Seguros, the title sponsors of this GCL round 2. Oxa in 152, 160, 1 stride down to 7B. That is massive. 160 tall. The pair of verticals, the GMP exiting straight bars. 7C again. Very, very tall. I'm 6'3", is right up under my chin. It's massive. They then come down to the Mexican Oxa, the FEM, 153 by 160 in width. Ox coming back to back. Both 8 and 9, very, very juicy. Mercedes-Benz comes at 9. You have to hack down to that with a lot of gusto. This, the getting towards homewards turn, the Longines skinny, then down 20 metres. It will be down to the GMP Flowers Liverpool at 11. And the last 2, the Longines Oxa, will take them down to the Prague Playoffs vertical. That is the final fence to come home. A lot of work, as we've seen, and with only 6 clears after 21 have started, it's about 1 in 3 only that are mastering the course of Anderson Lima and the team here in Mexico.
Ese es el recorrido que van a tener que saltar, igual que lo han hecho ya los jinetes que compiten a nivel individual, los jinetes que van a saltar en la
A lot at stake, of course, as we now take you down the start list, and it will be Scandinavian Vikings who launches into battle. They ring the changes. Howard Shabu comes in, and Constantin, then Basel Cosmopolitans. Jana Vargas, same horse she rode in Doha. Stockholm Hearts looking to improve. Olivia Philippas got his Stockholm Grand Prix champion from last year in H&M Miro. Paris Panthers got that jump to great clear, and Luis Felipe Neto Azevedo trying to now up his game into the second round. They've got great form as a team here. And Istanbul Warriors, Simon Dalestra changes into Jarno VDS's saddle. And Dennis Lynch, Visto Grand, Michael Penda again for New York Empire coming. Carl Tim brings Kandar Mail now into the Prague Alliance lineup, and Lady stays with Fernando Martinez Sommer. No changes for Rome Gladiators. John will ride Equine American Union to Frankfurt, and Mila stays for Nadia Peter Steiner. Mexico Amigos, they change it up. Carlos Hanguero comes in with H5 Shack Attack. Eduardo Pereira Menezes has got a new horse as well. Monaco Comets, fellow Carsfield, will now come in place of Corey de Mise. And Riesenbeck International, very good horse, DSP Ometa Insipid for Max Weishaupt. Marco Kutscher stays with Aventador S. Manuel Fernandez Saro stays with Zilis du Menil. And Mike van der Vleuten brings a new horse in O'Bailey Van Het Brouwershof Z. And Joub comes in for Mariano Martinez Bastida. New horse for him. And Valkenswaard United stay with the horses. And riders for Jules Thomas and Oliver Lazarus. Two new horses come in for Shanghai Swans as they try and win a treble GCL victory here in Mexico City. And Doha Falcons, Jérôme Guéry and Julien Coutin come in again to try and put the pressure on these two ladies. Sana Tyson comes in now, Conquidam RB, her outstanding machine of a jumper. Katrin Eckermann will be starting as well, but she'll have a change to Iron Dame's Kala Mandia NRW as they try and win their second leg of this brand new GCL season. So welcome everybody to the second round of the GCL here in Mexico City, the Trofeo GNP Seguros. The penalty span 24 between 17 teams that start here. They must start every leg of the GCL season. Each of our nominated teams for this brand new season. The rule change this year, we will lose the 17th place team after the finals in Riyadh later this season, leg 15 in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But the top four teams after Riyadh will qualify directly for the GCL semi-final in Prague and get a bye through the first round, that is the quarter-final at the playoffs. So that is the added incentive to have a top four finish, as if you needed one apart from the prestige of the series itself. Scandinavian Vikings now to try and, well, restore pride, and I'm afraid it doesn't go according to plan. Jörg Ruling has an early mistake with Helwil du Chabu. Banorte Oxa. 12-year-old daughter of Elvis to put across to Orlando, second blemish. In front of the guitars combination. Jörg Ruling from Baberich. Crescent Moon, the famous rock band from the same, not sure if it's town or village on the north-east flank of the Netherlands, but Crescent Moon anyway, from Jörg Ruling's base at SF Equestrian. But this is uncustomary here. Helwil du Chabu out of sorts. But no discard scores, so you've got to just get a team completion, because anything can happen in the season shake-up. You've got to get your horse around. You've got to nurse him home sometimes. You'd have to be sympathetic as a rider, but completion is the name of the game. Of course, riders will be very aware that when your horse goes totally flat as a sort of deflated balloon, that is when you've got to retire, but that will be a last measure. But that, of course, is always an option. So it's a disappointing start to the second round of the GCL for Jörg Ruling. Helwil du Chabu struggles to the finish line for Scandinavian Vikings.
Y la segunda representante del equipo, alumna del filete de Ruling, ganadora de la Copa del Mundo de San Marín, con su primer caballo de estos 16 puntos a la monta Constantine Sarkin Galcó.
Second round now for the Vikings. Konstantin 1-1 of Samuel Gelby, of Sterling,
Scandinavian Vikings had a really mixed bag in Doha, having led the first GCL round. Troubles in the second round dropped them out of contention. The new start tries to put a disappointing first round this afternoon to bed. Zara Vingrakova gets away. This is her outstanding Konstantin 110. The 22-year-old who was the Czech national champion 2 years ago. Zara, I'm afraid, is not going Scandinavian Vikings' way by any stretch of the imagination. Both her and Yer taking the plank into the first combination of 4-8. This pair had a huge 5-star win, jumping Amsterdam. January this year, they won the world ranking jump-off class, the penultimate class. Jumping Amsterdam to beat Martin Fuchs and Julien Paillard. That is their class. So now based back at Olomouc in the eastern part of the Czech Republic, or Czechia as we now refer to it. But still has a huge connection with Yer Vreeling, who mentors Zara. I think does go back to SF Equestrian to spend spells with Yer Vreeling. Zara comes down to the back end of the course of Anderson Lima. It's been a very good round overall, because clear rounds will be fairly few and far between. Bear in mind her age, 22 years of age, has a second error, but overall a good round for Zara Vingrakova. Konstantin comes home with 8. The GCL second round, Scandinavian Vikings have a tough start to the team concluder.
A difficult opening performance from the Scandinavian Vikings at the start of GCL round 2. They come out on 40 penalties at the end of their day, and you have a feeling that that may well put them right down at the bottom of the overall standings by the end of tonight. The Basel Cosmopolitans, one of the newcomers for 2025, are next in the ring. Sasha Newgard-Lill will open up for the Basel Cosmopolitans. If you want to join us for the rest of GCL round 2, you want to join us for the close here in beautiful Mexico City, sign up for a GCTV pass and we'll see you for the rest of the day.